Welcome to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. I'm Brie Gabrielle, and this is Captain Rick Murphy. You may have noticed we have a full studio of kids tonight. Oh my gosh.
You're right, Brie. We have kids. This fishing show is certainly all about kids, and I can't wait to just simply get into it. So let's get going. This is certainly the future of our fishing.
Yes, it is. Well, we are going to have lots of fun tonight. We have some great giveaways. The FWC and the Florida Lottery are here, and I even got to go fishing with a boat full of kids last week, so we'll get to see that up ahead. And Dave, I hear you have some kid-friendly products over there.
Yep, I got to do a lot of vacuum cleaning at the IGFA show and get a bunch of good stuff for the kids. And as soon as we're done tonight, we're going to give it all away.
What?
So, yeah, we're giving all the stuff away.
Wow.
They're going to love it.
All right.
They're going to love it. All right, well, to kick this kids party off, we have Pat Deneen on the line to tell us all about kids and fishing in the Panhandle region.
Hey, Bree, I tell you what, there's lots of opportunities for kids in the Panhandle to get out on the water fishing. And this summer's weather has been ideal for them, not just in the Bay, but also out in the Gulf. And I found that steady action is what keeps most young kids excited about fishing. So pick a game plan that will result in plenty of bites. Make sure the tackle being used or the fish being targeted suit the size of the angler. And we've had some really good trips this summer with young children by setting up on some of the nearshore wrecks and chumming and free line and live baits for kings, bonitas, and amberjacks, using medium to light tackle spinning rods. All these fish are big enough to put up a battle, but they're definitely catchable for kids of all sizes. And if you want to look at some organized fishing events for children, over in Port St. Joe, I believe it's July, they have a kids tournament. Check with Blue Water Outriggers for the details. All the rodeo-style tournaments throughout the Panhandle, like the October Destin Fishing Rodeo, they offer kids prizes and divisions. And then really what's cool is every November, Harbor Docks in Destin, they host a huge Take a Kid fishing event. They treat literally hundreds of children every fall, every November, for a day on the water with a charter boat out in Destin, all free of charge for the young kids. And there's a photo there. This kid, I've been taking fishing since she was really young. It's my daughter, Katie, and last week I had a cancellation, a last-minute cancellation. She jumped at booking the spot, and we went out and we did some free line and bait fishing above some wrecks, and she caught that really nice amberjack. So it's always fun to go fishing with kids, especially if they're yours.
All right, what else you got for us inshore, Pat?
Rick, the redfish on the flats has been real consistent throughout the Panhandle. Captain Chuck Kemper over in Navarre, he's been catching plenty of keeper fish around the docks. Using live baits, either suspended under a float or on a Carolina rig. In Chattahoochee Bay, the flats around 4 Mile Point, and also on the south shore of the bay, west of Sandestin, have been producing fish. On the flats, it's all about covering water, so lure fishing excels. Trolling motor or drift the grass sand edges and stay up tight close to the shore. Pay particular attention to white sand patches in the grass and also the potholes. Gold spoons, skitterwalks, saltwater assassin, sea shad, and silver mullet on a light jig head are all great prospecting baits. When you get a bite, make sure you drop your power pole or your anchor and then thoroughly fish that area, because mostly there's generally more fish in that area. 20 to 25-inch fish are the norm for right now in the bay. Moving offshore, the white marlin bite has been hot at the nipple, the 131 hole, and the elbow. It's been as good as most people can ever remember. The water's been clean blue-green with scattered grass. The best bite has been first thing in the morning and late in the afternoon, so the boats get in an early start and staying all day and putting in the hours to fish till dark or putting up the best numbers. The action seems to be concentrated at the nipple or just south or just north of it. Watch your sounder for bait. When you find the bait mark in mid-water or even up at water, work that area hard. Dredges and daisy chains are going to get those fish behind the boat. To get them on the hook, use a skipping or swimming ballyhoo or a ballyhoo lure combination. Use 30-pound outfits. The average size fish are 40 to 50 pounds, and some of the boats are releasing 7 or more fish a day. So it's been a very good bite for sure.
All right, Pat, before we continue offshore, we're going to talk a little bit about the navionics and the sonar soundings and sonar chart from your area. Now, what we're talking about here, guys, is we're talking about the west ledge, and what happens here is, as you can see by these sonar soundings, we have a significant drop-off. And what happens this time of year is on this drop-off, the bait seems to gather and have a great little updwelling and a current break, And what ends up happening is the white marlin and all the other billfish seem to gather up there. So Captain Pat says that's a good place to start if you're wondering what to do. What else do you have for us offshore there, Pat?
Hey, Rick, there's been some good mangrove snapper action on the natural bottom in wrecks off Navarre in 70 to 130 feet of water. The best technique is to chum them up and free line small dead baits or cut baits on 20 to 30 pound leaders and a small hook. I mean, this is really where your iPilot anchor function excels. Either that or anchor the boat and set up on top of it. But basically, if you get your boat sitting in one spot, you can chum them up literally to your transom. And then make sure your chunk bait or your hook bait is sinking at the same rate as your chum bait. So instead of just pulling the line off of the reel, pull it off the rod tip so you don't have any, you want it to sink at the same rate. And you can often watch these fish eat your bait. So just watch your bait sink on down. The mangrove snappers are running up to 7 pounds, so 5,000 to 6,000 series spinning outfits are the way to go. 20-pound braid. And there's a photo there this past week. We were sitting there doing the same thing I just talked about, and that big triple tail swam up behind the boat and paid us a visit. So you never know what's going to swim up, especially when you're chumming.
Well, thanks for getting us started for this great kids show. Pat, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the blue water outrigger hotspots from the Panhandle region. Inshore, upper Escambia Bay mud flats around the river mouths for speckled trout, slowly twitching a mirror lure 17 MR. And then offshore, get some of that white marlin action at the nipple trolling ballyhoo and ballyhoo lure combinations.
Well, Rick, we've got little Josiah sitting here next to us waiting to introduce the next captain. And next up, coming to you from the Central West region, is Captain Jeff Page. Tell us about the kids who fish in your region, Jeff.
First, I got to tell you, I'd love to be trolling at the nipple. But
this is a kids show, Jeff.
I'm up at Carl Black in Orlando doing a seminar tonight. I've got 4 kids in the audience: Andrew, Reese, Austin, and Kyle. And Andrew's biggest fish he ever caught was a 4-foot shark. Reese, a 61-inch red. Austin, a 4-foot tarpon, and Kyle, a 10-pound largemouth bass.
All right, let's get going there, Bob.
Now, Central West, I have a great number of young anglers, boys and girls in the Starbright Central West region, and it all starts with great adult and parent anglers, moms and dads that take their kids fishing. Also, in Sarasota, as well as Manatee and Charlotte County chapters of CCA that promote kids go fishing, and they include junior divisions in all their all-release tournaments. And then down south in Punta Gorda, Jerry Cleffy and his Flats-Master Series, he has the annual Kids Cup. And at Economy Tackle in Sarasota, we have seminars twice a year just for kids. And the Venice Fishing Pier has a kids' summer camp, which has already ended. It's every June and July, where the kids learn all about catching bait and casting and so on and so forth. Like our top guide in Sarasota always says, Johnny Walker out of New Pass Bait and Tackle, make sure that you take your kid fishing, because one day you might need them to take you. I got a photo tonight of one of your favorite young lady anglers, Rick, 5-year-old Ada Pauley.
There she is. Thanks, Jeffrey. What else you got for us inshore?
Redfish, inshore, nice red still coming in from the bars out front of Bull and Turtle Bay, as well as out front of Emerson Point to the north. Guys are throwing saltwater assassin elite shiners in the ripper pattern on a 1/4 ounce chartreuse hookup jig head, or cut pinfish or ladyfish on the bottom on that same hookup jig head. Be patient, don't move the cut bait. I got a photo tonight of 5-year-old Robbie Cameraman and his dad Nick. They caught these nice reds while fishing with Sarasota's own Captain Jeremy Lee of Leaside Charters. Rolling offshore, black tip sharks, good black tip action over the near shore artificial reefs, in as close as a mile out to 11 miles. You're going to want to drift or anchor over the reefs with light wire rigged on a heavy spinning rod, cut ladyfish, jack, mullet, even a big live pinfish or pilcher to work. Black tips are averaging 20 to 40 pounds, and staying with the kid themes, I got a photo tonight of young Blake Saladino and his uncle, who you know, DNR Danny of DNR Automotive, with a black tip they got last week.
Awesome.
Stu, red grouper. Captain Jason Sherrill says the red grouper bite remains strong, as well as some nice gags, and he's getting them on hard bottom and structure in 120 to 160 feet of water. Live pinfish, grunts, your best bet. don't forget, y'all get you a Chevy truck.
All right, thank you, Jeffrey. Great report from the StarTron Central West region. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Tires Plus hotspots from the Central West region. Inshore, speckled trout, nice 17 to 24-inch speckled trout being taken on top waters, Zara Spooks and Mirror Mirrodines. On the deeper grass flats around Long Bar area is going to work for those trout. And then offshore, amberjacks, big AJs holding on the wrecks and reefs in 120 to 160 feet of water. Use live big pinfish or Williamson Vortex jigs in hot pink. And I got to tell you, standing next to me here is the executive director, Nick Wiley from the FWC. Nick, this is all about kids tonight. You are a huge advocate of kids. So tell us about what the FWC is offering kids these days.
Oh, we're thrilled that you're focusing on kids. That's our future. And I want to tell you, one thing we're proud of is the lifetime fishing license. I mean, when kids are at a young age, you can invest in their future, give them opportunity to fish for a lifetime for a greatly reduced price. If you're under 4, $125 a lifetime. If you're under 13, $225. How many of you guys are under 13?
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand, come on.
All right.
Think about investing.
So grandma, grandpa, mom and dad potentially could buy a lifetime fishing license or even a sportsman's license. Like we have a picture here of the sportsman's license from Ridge. Now, Nick, what does that really mean? Their whole life they don't have to buy a license?
It means they don't have to ever worry about a license again as long as they live. If they move away from Florida, they can come back. Don't have to worry about buying a license. They can fish for the rest of their lives in Florida.
Great job. You know what, Nick, another thing that's such a huge impact that the FWC is doing is the Florida Youth Conservation Center networks. And we had a chance to go up and talk to Ray Waddell, and I want you to take a look at what Ray had to say.
Awesome.
The Everglades Youth Conservation Camp has everything a kid could want to get outside in the summer. We have fishing and boating and hiking, camping, wildlife viewing, archery, everything a kid could want to get back into nature, get outside and have a great summer.
We expose them to, a lot of people say, a lost art, and let them know that there is life without video games, without the internet, and just give them a taste of what we were exposed to as children, and let them see, you know what, the outdoors is fun. Let's take that next generation, have them take that step forward and love the outdoors like all of us did.
Successful conservation efforts can't be sustained without informed and involved citizens who support and appreciate and enjoy Florida's fish and wildlife resources. And that's what this camp does. It targets our youngest generation, and it gets them outside and gets them on the water, in the woods, and lets them see what's out there, the science behind the rules we make and the laws that are out there for them to follow. And once they understand why we're protecting the species and the importance of that, they really do become involved and they support it and they become lifelong stewards.
You know, Nick, if anybody wants information about the youth centers or potentially a fishing license, where do they need to go?
myfwc.com. It'll give you everything you need to know, and the youth is on the front page.
Thank you for everything you do for the Chevy Florida Insider Fish Report and all these kids. And Bree, we got the show to continue, so
yes,
thanks for being here.
we do. All right, guys, when we come back, we'll visit the Keys and say hi to another special guest right here on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Show me your best fish faces. Ready, go. Yay!
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy. Find new roads. Best parts, best prices. Bennett Auto Supply. Yeti Coolers. Wildly stronger. Keep ice longer. CCA Florida, the voice of recreational anglers for over 25 years. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation. Humminbird. Simply, clearly, better. The Florida Lottery, just imagine. And King Sailfish Mounts, www.kingsailfish.com.
Wandering out into this great unknown, and when it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain.
Find summer, the Chevy Summer Drive. The Chevy Summer Drive. Get 0% financing for 72 months plus a total value of $4,000 on this 2014 Silverado All-Star Edition and no monthly payments for 90 days. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Yamaha's next generation V6 4-strokes are changing the game.
Mid-range power was awesome. Fuel, the burn, it's unbelievable.
Couldn't believe the speed and the fuel economy is pretty impressive.
I mean, I couldn't believe the power. It was like it was more like doing a quarter mile on a dragster.
And them things are like, it's a whole nother game. So I made the switch.
Experience the difference for yourself during the Yamaha Discover V6 Offshore Demo Tour. See why we call it the game changer.
Jackpot!
Jackpot.
Jackpot!
Jackpot?
Jackpot!
Jackpot.
Jackpot!
Jackpot! Get ready for the Jackpot family of scratch-off games from the Florida Lottery. With a top prize of $2 million, jackpots will happen. Will you be ready for yours?
I got it.
The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at the office. But down here in the Florida Keys, we have to disagree. Because with over 200 of the world's best charter boat captains and guides, there's no such thing as a bad day of fishing. The Florida Keys and Key West.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
Time to go over news and notes from the FWC. August 16th, check out the Coast Guard Auxiliary, which is about boating safely, and is one-day course in Fort Myers. August 22nd through the 24th is the Adult Huntmaster Training in Marion County. And don't forget, September 6th is Saltwater License-Free Fishing Day. For more information, visit myfwc.com. Now it's time to go off the deep end. We're not going off the deep end, apparently. Where are you going, man?
I was headed over to the bench. I thought I was in the wrong place. I was going off the deep end. Thanks, you threw me a curve.
I gotcha.
All right, tell me.
Let's head down to the Keys region, where Captain Randy Towle fishes with the kids all the time and has some great insight for us when it comes to families and fishing. Now you can go off the deep end.
Okay, bye.
Hey, good evening, fish fans. Let me tell you, fishing as a kid in the Keys is something that I did when I was growing up. And there's a lot of people over the years that have spent time with their kids in the Keys, and they've kept that tradition, and they've kept it in the family. And it's really great to see when you get a customer that calls and says, hey, I want to go fishing with you, and I want to bring my son or daughter or the family down. And it really makes for a nice day. And there's so much to do, whether it's offshore, whether it's backcountry. You know, it seems like the younger the kids are, the more action you need to come up for them. Whether it's catching snappers or just jacks and trout in the backcountry. And as they get a little older, they understand, you know, there's more to it and have a little more patience to catch some of the trophy fish and, you know, spend some time, maybe not catching as many, but some quality fish. And I'm really happy that the 33 years I've been fishing down here, I have fished with a lot of families, a lot of fathers and mothers with kids, and we've just had some great memories. And that's what it's all about, spending time with your kids on the water, away from technology and everything else. It's a wonderful thing, and I'm certainly glad to see more and more people doing it. I've got a photograph here of I know Stuart Ferber fishing with his dad Shields from Ocean Ridge with a nice big snook they caught.
All right, well, let's go ahead and stay inshore. What do you got for me, Randy?
You know, the red fishing has been really outstanding the last couple of weeks. This time of year, some of my favorite backcountry fishing off Flamingo, right out front of Flamingo. Sometimes you don't have to go too far, and the red fishing has been really good. Now, the best of it seems to be on the incoming tide and obviously it changes every day. Right now we've got that incoming tide in the late afternoon, and with the calm weather, you know, these flats are really, really calm, so you can see fish moving and pushing and tailing, and there's been a lot of nice schools coming in on those incoming tides right now, and some of these schools might have 10 or 15 fish in them. Some might have 100 in them, and they're a lot of fun. For a fly fisherman, it's great. For a spin fisherman, it's even better because you can just catch a bunch of them. I've got a photo of Mike Stanley and his son Tanner with 2 of the 30 redfish we caught a couple days ago.
That's some good fishing, Randy. All right, let's go offshore, buddy.
Blackfin tunas. This is the time of year where most guys are going offshore, and you're looking for dolphin, and you got to go by the humps. And these humps are going to be loaded up with tuna at times. Now, we haven't had a great bite, but if you're there early, the key to this is early morning, getting there right after the sun comes up, or if you can leave in the dark and get there as the sun's coming up, or stay late in the day. Now, a lot of guys are just trolling with dark feathers or small lures, and they're doing pretty well. You're catching some medium-sized football tunas, we call them, maybe 5 to 10 pounds. If you want to try to target the bigger ones, live bait is always the way to go. But remember, once you start throwing that live bait over, you're going to attract some sharks. And some of your bigger tunas that you hook, you're not going to catch them because the sharks are going to get them. And there's quite a few sharks out on the humps right now. So your best bet is to troll around with your dark feathers and small lures way back, 200 to 300 feet back in a figure-8 pattern, and you'll catch enough tunas for dinner, I can promise you.
All right, what else you got for us offshore?
Dolphin fishing. Here we are in August, and the dolphin fishing is still great. I was out today. We got into them again. Nice gaffer-sized dolphin. A few big ones, but for the most part, big schoolies and big gaffers. Almost everybody I talked to today was into them. And it's about 800 to 1,000 feet of water. And the trick right now is once you get out there, there's a lot of weeds. Stop on some of these weed patches and take an R&R number 6 sabinki and drop down and catch your live bait. There's a lot of these little jacks under the weeds. Load your live well up with this live bait, and I can promise you, when you get into the dolphin and you throw that little jack out, you're going to catch one.
All right, great report, Randy, from the Florida Keys. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the La Jolla hotspots from the Florida Keys. Inshore, redfish, the fish the beginning of the incoming tide in front of Flamingo. Look for the small schools of fish working back onto the flats. And then offshore, dolphin. Start in 800 feet of water where you have weed patches, catch live baits under the weeds, and then use them to cast to the swimming dolphin there, Bree.
Are you back from off the deep end there, Rick?
Yeah, man. You sent me on a wild goose chase.
I know, sorry. All right, now it's time to tell you about some tournaments in the Florida Keys. The 6th annual Spartan Fishing Tournament, planned for next weekend in Isla Mirada, is a family-friendly fishing event with backcountry and offshore divisions. The Robert James Sales Slam Tournament, scheduled for September 5th through the 7th in Key West, is the first of 3 tournaments in the annual Redbone Celebrity Tournament Series in the Florida Keys. The events raise funds for cystic fibrosis treatment and research. Teams of up to 4 divers can compete for more than $3,500 in prize money for the most lionfish captured, largest and smallest individual lionfish, at the Lionfish Derby, September 12th to the 13th in Key Largo. The Marathon International Bonefish Tournament, scheduled for September 18th to the 21st, is one of the oldest angling competitions in the Florida Keys. Awards include the tongue-in-cheek Wet Pants title for anglers waiting from shore. And now, of course, we're going to hear from Andy Newman.
And Bree, it's set for September 9th to the 12th, and it's one of the most prestigious bonefish tournaments in the world. We're talking about the Isla Mirada Invitational Fall Fly Bonefish Tournament. Past grand champions include Flip Talent, Billy Pate, Carl Hyacinth, and Andy Mill. And hey, guys, there's still time to register. More information by calling 917-412-0136. Now, by the way, bonefish is indeed the targeted species for Insider Fishing Report during the first week of September. It's a special fun-filled Florida Keys themed show, and one lucky viewer will have a chance to win a 3-night, 4-day stay at the Islander Resort. It's a Guy Harvey outpost in Isla Mirada. More details later on this month about that. And of course, Rick, much more information on other tournaments and events in the Florida Keys, always at flakeys.com.
Thanks, Andy. And now we have Tom Dolan, the Miami District Manager from the Florida Lottery. Thanks for being here with us, Tom. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, why don't you start off by telling us about the lottery's new scratch-off games?
Sure, yeah. In July, we came out with the Jackpot family. It's the latest of our family of games installation. It's a great way for new players to come and play the lottery. We start with a $1 ticket. It goes all the way up to a $2, a $5, and a $10 ticket. So plenty to choose from.
Great, that sounds awesome. How much do tickets cost and where can people buy them?
Again, they're $1, $2, and $5 and $10 tickets for these particular games. People can buy them anywhere throughout the state, from Pensacola all the way down to Key West. We have 13,000 vendors that sell our tickets, so they're available statewide.
That's great. I love scratch off. My grandma would always get them for every single one of our family members, and we look forward to it every single holiday.
Well, she has some great choices here.
Okay, great. Well, why don't you tell us, did you already tell us some features of the new scratch off?
Sure, yeah. Well, the top prizes, I mean, this is a great top prize for the $10 ticket. It's a $2 million prize. We did have a $500,000 winner down here in South Florida not too terribly long ago, down in South Miami about 2 weeks ago. So there's plenty of winners left. Now, the best thing about this game is if you don't have a winner first time around, you can go to our website, flalottery.com, and register non-winning tickets. And we're going to have a drawing September 3rd, and we're going to give away $500 to 50 people and a $50,000 second chance prize to one lucky person here in the state.
Wow, that is a second chance. I would love to have that second chance. Okay, well, a lot of people don't know that the Florida Lottery contributes to education, and that is something that I know you want to talk about.
Oh, sure. That's our sole mission. That's what we go to work for every day. I've been with the lottery for 27 years, and we've contributed $26 billion to public education. And where does that money go? It goes to K through 12 programs, kids. What a apropos time to be here today. To colleges, universities around the state, and something we've embraced and we're super proud of is the Bright Future Scholarship Program. We've put 650,000 kids through college with a Bright Future, or assisted their way through college here in the great state of Florida. One of my son was actually a Bright Future recipient, and he's currently up at Florida State University, so I'm really proud of that.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and we are going to keep the show rolling. So coming up on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is our report from the East and Northeast regions, so stay hooked. But first, we have Allie over here at the dock. She's showing the kids how to bait some hooks. What are you doing over there?
Thank you. I am surrounded by a wonderful bunch of kids here, and everybody's been telling me their fish stories about how big the fish they caught were, and it's getting bigger with every story, so it's been pretty cool. But today we're talking live bait, one of the most integral parts of fishing, and Jack over here is going to help me hook a live crab. So go ahead and grab a nice one for us there, Jack. Awesome. And Thomas is going to hold it while we hook it. Okay, go ahead and flip him over, buddy. There you go. You got him. So now, I've already pre-hooked it once, just to make it easier, but hold him by the back there. Hold us there. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and just pop it through. And I think we got the one that was not hooked. But to hook a live crab, just pop it through the shell just like that. And there you go. Go ahead and hold it.
Wow.
And my friend Mateo over here told me that he has caught permit with live crab before. So that's one way to get it done.
Well, you guys look like you're having a blast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We will be right back on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Blue Water Outriggers, everything for your outdoor adventures. Guy Harvey Clothing by AFTCO. Croquis, made in the USA. Drummond Community Bank. Costa, see what's out there. And Casa Vieja Lodge, 5-star angling in beautiful Guatemala.
Jackpot! Jackpot. Jackpot. Jackpot? Jackpot. 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 Jackpot.
Get ready for the Jackpot family of scratch-off games from the Florida Lottery. With a top prize of $2 million, jackpots will happen. Will you be ready for yours?
I got it.
The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
What is CCA? CCA has been representing recreational fishermen for over 25 years, and when your rights to fish are threatened, the CCA is there to make sure government regulators are making sound decisions. I'm a life member of CCA, and when fishery decisions are being made, the CCA in the room is fighting for our recreational rights. We need to give our kids the same opportunities to fish as we did. Do what I did. Go to ccaflorida.org and join for only $25 so you can protect your recreational angling rights.
Hi, I'm Harold Bennett. My dad started Bennett Auto Supply over 57 years ago. Things have changed since then. We've grown to 33 stores and opened a 93,000 square foot distribution center. But one thing has stayed the same, our focus on the customer. That's why we have the most knowledgeable parts specialists in the business, and we only offer quality auto parts at the guaranteed lowest prices. The next time you need anything for your vehicle, think Bennett Auto Supply. Best parts, best prices, Bennett Auto Supply.
Wandering out into this great unknown. And when it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain.
Find summer, the Chevy Summer Drive. The Chevy Summer Drive. Get 0% financing for 72 months plus a total value of $4,000 on this 2014 Silverado All-Star Edition and no monthly payments for 90 days. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Welcome back, guys. This summer, we're helping you cool down. Sportsman's Adventures has joined forces with Yeti for this great giveaway. Enter for a chance to win a Yeti Tundra 45-quart cooler, a 20-ounce Yeti Rambler, and a Sportsman Adventures prize pack. Starting now, fans can enter daily at Chevy Florida, InsiderFishingReport.com, or at SportsmanAdventures.com. And before we go on to the East Region, Rick, I actually got the opportunity to go out on a headboat with the IGFA Fishing Kids Camp last week and had a blast.
Kids on the water?
Yeah,
Cool.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at how much these kids love the ocean and, of course, love to fish. Hey everyone, we're here going out of Miami Beach Marina on another reward fishing boat, and we're here with the IGFA Kids Camp. This is Dolan and Ryan I have with me. What's your name? Casey. And this is Casey, and we are going out to catch some fish today.
I got a fish! The camp is an amazing camp. It runs 10 weeks long all throughout summer. We get new batches of kids pretty much every single week. We teach the kids the basics of fishing, how to tie their knots, how to release their fish, the regulations, what they can keep, what they can't keep. We go fishing throughout all South Florida, different freshwater, saltwater areas. We teach the kids, you know, conservation, so no littering out in the ocean or the lakes, and then pretty much everything we catch is catch and release, no matter how small or how big.
And you know what, you taught them well, because I've gotten a few lessons today from a few of the kids, and they just go through every detail with perfection.
Awesome.
Woo! How many do you think you're going to catch today?
Probably like 20 or 30.
Like 20 or 30? That's a good number.
The last time they went out on the weekly fishing trip, collectively the boat caught like 1,200 fish altogether. So, you know, the kids love it because, you know, when you're catching fish, they have a great time.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Anthony! What is the most important thing you learned at camp since you've been here?
The most important thing I learned in camp,
what?
You have to be patient.
You have to be patient. That's a good one.
Oh look,
Patience
there's so
is a
many
virtue.
fish around here.
He's so excited. There's so many fish. So Jesse, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you learned at camp in the past 2 weeks you've been
The past 2 weeks, I've learned most things.
He caught a humongous fish.
That's adorable. I've learned how to tie a hook on.
Yeah?
And how to put a weight on.
Can you show us by putting some bait on your hook? And then I'll follow you and do it along with you. Is there a special way to do it?
With this bait, no, because it's really hard to take it off.
Okay. And you just wait? Yep. Sitting and waiting and wishing for some good fishing? I just made that up. So you're going to continue fishing after the camp then?
Yeah, I think I'm going to continue.
You like it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Good. We need more girls out in the water.
Yeah.
Sitting, waiting, and wishing for some good fishing. Did you catch that?
I got it.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
Rick, I had so much fun fishing, as you could probably see, and I was very impressed with how much they learned at the IGFA fishing camp. And I really loved not only how much they love to fish, but also the conservation and preservation aspect of fishing and protecting the ocean.
You know, Bree, it was impressive. That teared me up, man. Seeing all those kids and you.
Oh,
it was awesome.
You're so emotional. But now to keep this boat a motoring is Captain Mike Holliday from the East Region, who has a lot to offer when it comes to fishing with the kiddies. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Bree, how are you? There really are a lot of options when it comes to taking kids fishing in my region. The key to remember is to make it fun and to provide a lot of action so that they stay busy and concentrate on it. A couple of good options are to go to the beach and fish shrimp, or let the kids dig up sand fleas by themselves and fish them for whiting or croakers. You can do that with light tackle. Blowing Rocks, Hope Sound Beach, Bob Graham Beach, Walton Rocks Beach, Pepper Park, they're all good beaches to fish in my area. Another option is to grab some shrimp, head over to the catwalk on the A1A Bridge in Jupiter, or the catwalk in the old fishing pier on the Jensen Causeway, or even the South Jetty in Fort Pierce. All those will produce a lot of fish on shrimp right now. If you've got a boat, you can fish the artificial reefs around Peanut Island and Snook Island. Those are inshore reefs, fishing for snapper, or fish the south side of the St. Lucie Inlet for snapper and snook. Use live shrimp or juvenile pilchards or threadfins, and you'll get all the action in those areas that you want. And if freshwater's your game, grab a dozen live shiners. Pick a local lake or pond. You drive by them every day. Pitch out a shiner with a small bobber on it, and the bass will find that pretty quickly. In my region, we also got some great clubs that do kids events, like the West Palm Beach Fishing Club does their Kids Day in July, and last weekend the Stewart Sailfish Club had their junior angler tournament. So a lot of stuff for kids in my region. Now moving to the fish, if you like throwing topwater plugs, be on the west side of the Indian River between Walton Road and Midway Road at dawn. Work the edges of the mullet schools that are traveling between the docks for sea trout up to 9 pounds. The keys to find the mullet schools: the bite's over by about 8:30 on most mornings. Black and silver or green and silver topwater plugs, black shad colored dye dappers, or Houdini colored elite shiners are all pretty deadly offerings right now. Rig the soft plastics weedless and crawl them across the surface and over the potholes in the grass, and you'll get some really explosive strikes first thing in the morning. You can also fish live shrimp, pinfish, or pigfish under popping corks in those same areas and do well. The majority of trout in the area are 2 to 4 pounds, but there are some really big fish in the mix, and there's also some, a good number of snook, redfish, and the occasional tarp in that region. So a lot going on around the docks right now. I got a photo just to show you, give you an idea what's going on trout-wise. That's 11-year-old Christian O'Neill. He caught that massive spotted sea trout on the flats in Stewart, and he was using a live sardine for bait, and that's on the Sailfish Point flat.
All right, let's go offshore, Mike.
Well, we've had a lot of offshore winds this week, and that west wind's been blowing the weed lines apart, really hurting our dolphin fishing. So the most consistent bite offshore has been for sailfish in anywhere from 170 to 400 feet of water from Palm Beach all the way up to the St. Lucie power plant. The sails are holding on the rips, the edges, the color changes, and also around the wrecks, and they're traveling in small pods of 2 to 5 fish. You can pick them up trolling ballyhoo, but the guys that are really getting multiple shots of the sails are the guys that are slow trolling or drifting with live sardines or pilchards, and the average sailfish right now is around 50 pounds. I got a photo of sails there. That's a sailfish doubleheader. The guy in the photo is Stuart Smith fighting the fish. His father, Lee Smith, is fighting the fish that you see jumping. That was in 310 feet of water off St. Lucie Inlet last week. And now the other bite we got going on, now that we're coming off the back of the full moon, the snapper bite's picking up again. I was talking to Bill Taylor on the Black Dog in Jupiter. He said they're making a living right now on the mangrove snapper, but there's also been a good push of 3 to 4 pound yellowtails in the mix. The bite's kind of crazy. It's all over the place, 60 to 120 feet of water. Got to move around a lot, and the sharks have been real bad, so once the sharks get on you, move again. Now, up in St. Lucie County, it's all mangrove snapper, and those fish are up to 8 pounds for the guys that are fishing in 65 to 85 feet of water just southeast of Fort Pierce Inlet. The largest fish by far are being caught at night. In both locations, the best baits have been sardines or cigar minnows, although ballyhoo chunks and small pinfish are also catching their share of fish. Average mangrove snapper is 1 to 3 pounds, and like I said, the yellowtails have been 3 to 4 pounds out on the reefs.
All right, Mike, you're our bass reporter, so why don't you tell us what's happening with the bass, bud?
Well, you know, it's the dog days of summer, yet Lake Okeechobee is still producing great numbers of bass. The key is to be on the water before the sun comes up and off the water by 10 o'clock. As soon as it gets hot, that bite's really shutting down. At first light, the bass are focused on busting shad, and a lot of the action is for school fishing at 1 to 3 pound range. I was talking to Captain Mike Shellen of Okeechobee. He said to look for moving water around the Pierce Canal or on the west side of the Sportsman's Canal and throw a white double willow leaf bladed spinnerbait or a lipless crankbait or a swim bait at the school fish. And then once the sun gets up, switch over to a June bug or watermelon red glitter colored trick worm and work the edges of the outside grass lines. And you can also work the hydrola mats with a swim jig or flip them with a creature bait. But the best midday action is going to come on live shiners along those outside grass lines. Anglers are averaging 20 to 30 fish a morning, and on the good days we're catching 50 fish a morning. So even though it's hot, the bass fishing's right there with it.
Good report from the Bennett Auto Supply East Region. Mike, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the East Region hotspots brought to you by waterwaycafe.com. Snook and flounder at the South Jetty in Fort Pierce. Sea shads, curly-tailed jigs, live pilchards and flies, flounders on the Spur Jetty, and snook on the beach, and then offshore, kingfish from the Loran Tower Ledge to the drop-off in Jupiter. Live sardines on the number 4 wire stinger rig. Fish the bait schools.
Rick, look what I caught.
Wow, hi Ocean.
This is Little Miss Ocean, guys, and Captain Russell, all of the kids here, including Miss Ocean, are super excited to hear what's going on up in the Northeast region, so let's hear it.
Hey, Bree and Rick. The Northeast Florida has many places that we can have fun and safe places where kids can have a great time fishing. The Florida State Parks are some of the best places to take kids fishing. And you can also book a charter boat captain to take a kid on a fun day of fishing. Fishing trips like this will be very educational and will leave a great impact on your kids. Now, I've got a photo of Calvin Bennett. He's only 7 years old, and he's in the 2nd grade, and he caught this nice upper slot redfish fishing with Captain Chris Herrera. Way to go, Calvin. Now, I also have another photo here of Sean Gulling, who is 9 years old, and he's heading into the 4th grade. Sean was also fishing with Captain Chris Herrera just north of Bing's Landing and the Captain's Barbecue. Way to go, Sean. Now, moving inshore, Rick, or staying inshore, I want to talk about the fish and the shrimp. Now, the best time of year to catch shrimp in the St. Johns River is now until mid-September. During the day, you can use your boat to catch that shrimp. Target the shrimp in the deeper holes in the river channel where the shrimp are congregating during the bright daylight. Now, at night, the shrimp will move inshore to spawn. Cast net under the dock lights and 3 to 5 foot of water on the incoming tides. Their darker nights will work the best. Bait up the shrimp with a combination of shrimp meal mixed with clay or flour to hold the bottom, especially in the current. The typical size of the white shrimp are being caught are 21 to 25 count per pound. Also, moving offshore, our Jack Curval fishing. Look for these large schools of Jack Curval holding near the pogey pods. And right now, the pods and the jacks are holding on the south end of Cumberland and Amelia Island. It's best to look for these monsters when the sea conditions are calm and the sun is between 10 and 2. Look for a color change in the water and V-wakes created by a school of 300 to 500 giant jacks as they're pushing, the water over their backs. To get these big jacks' attention, you're going to want to cast a very large, or the largest Rapala skittle pop with a very large spinning rod. Be sure to lead the jacks by casting ahead of their direction. Typical size Jack Curval are going to run anywhere from 25 to 35 pounds. And I've got a great photo of Troy Bostick with his first monster Jack Curval taken off Amelia Island just last weekend. Also offshore, our tarpon fishing looks really great for the weather forecast and the tides that we have coming up this weekend. Now, what you want to do is find the pogey pods near shore, cast net a cooler full of pogies, and be sure to ice them down to keep them fresh. Drift your chum down current in 25 to 35 foot of water, And watch for the tarpon as they begin to feed. Use a whole pogie for bait and hook it on a VMC 8/0 circle hook. And don't forget to leave the rod in the rod holder. Typical tarpon are running 70 to 120 pounds. And Rick, I'm all jacked up about the great Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report event that we're going to have at our very own Ron Anderson Chevrolet here September 4th at 5 to 8 p.m. And we want to invite everyone to come.
Great job, Russell. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Northeast region. Captain Russell says inshore at night, cast the shrimp nets under the dock lights in 3 to 5 feet of water, chum with the shrimp with shrimp meal and mix it with clay. And then offshore, fish tarpon by chumming pogies in 25 to 40 feet of water on the last half of the flood tide, Bree.
All right, Rick, well, get ready, guys. CCA wants to give you a boat. Being raffled is a Contender 28 tournament series with an Ameritrail trailer, a Pathfinder with an Ameritrail trailer, and a Hell's Bay with a custom trailer. Of course, all of these beautiful boats come with Yamaha motors.
That's right.
But remember, if you win and don't want the boat, you can opt for a cash prize. All you have to do is go to ccaboatraffle.org and enter to win.
Now, you know, Bree, speaking of CCA,
Yes.
each one of these kids, by a private donation, a guy named Mike Carter and CCA, they're all going to get, Mark Carter, they're all going to get a junior membership award. Wow. And this is Victoria Lopez from Palm Beach. And guess what? Victoria also, in all of their little backpacks, they have a Tide magazine that's strictly for kids, so they can learn a lot about it. Thank you for helping us, Victoria.
I want that magazine. Thanks, Victoria. Okay, don't swim off, because when we come back, we're seeing what cool kids products Dave has for us at the workbench, and then heading on over to the Northwest region. And on our way out, let's say hi to Allie and the kids and see what they're hooking up over there.
What you got, Allie?
Well, we're playing with shiners right now. We got all these hands in the bucket trying to get a hold of one of these guys, and it looks like Dylan has one there. Can I take a hold of that? Thanks, buddy. I'm going to show you guys how to hook this so that you can use it for fishing. And a shiner is a freshwater fish. The best way to hook it is through the nostrils like this. And again, Mateo back here told me that, Mateo is right here, that he actually caught a bass on these? Yeah. Yep. And then Thomas over here caught a peacock bass. They're good for most freshwater types. All right, can you guys get another one out of there? You get it?
All right, Allie, sounds good. I know one thing, those kids are quite the catch, Rick.
Yeah, they are.
All right, we'll be right back on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. High five! High five!
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by the Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. Hookup Lures, premium lures for serious anglers. FWC, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Guy Harvey, artist, explorer, marine scientist, conservationist, diver, and fisherman. La Jolla Resort, a place for family and fishermen. Maverick Boat Company, makers of premium boat brands, Maverick, Hughes, and Pathfinder. Navionics, we start where the road ends.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Jackpot!
Jackpot.
Jackpot!
Jackpot?
Jackpot! 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 Jackpot!
Get ready for the jackpot family of scratch-off games from the Florida Lottery. With a top prize of $2 million, jackpots will happen. Will you be ready for yours?
I got it.
The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation.
Suffix 832 is constructed with 7 strands of Dyneema and a single strand of Gore Performance Fiber. It's the roundest, longest casting line in the world. It offers superior abrasion resistance so you can fish it anywhere. It's the strongest, most sensitive, and durable small diameter braid ever to hit the water. Nice fish, Brett.
Thanks.
Suffix 832. Always use the best line.
Dave, we're talking about kids over here at the Jägermeister Workbench and new products.
I can smell them in here.
Yeah, there's kids in here, Bo. So tell them, what do we got for kids this week?
Well, first off, we're starting off with the new Zebco 33, and this is you know, just about every kid starts off with a Zebco 33. I know I did a long time ago. Is what my dad gave me when I was a little boy. The first metal reel I ever had was a Zebco 33, and this is the brand new one. And this is, you know, totally different from the old style that we had. It looks a little bit similar, but it's a lot beefier. It's got a big metal handle on it. It's got a really smooth drag. It's got a lot of stainless steel stuff in there.
Oh,
like the old one. You see that? So how much different
really
it is from the old one we used to have. It's got an adjustable drag up on the front. You can get it, you know, as hard or as soft as you'd like. And it's also got a bite alarm on here. A little click over here, and it'll make a little noise when you get a bite.
Oh,
you
nice.
3.61 to gear ratio. You know, the bite alert function, the new line management system. It keeps it from getting all tangled up inside. Remember the old Zebco 33s used to have a problem inside when it didn't pick up and you get a big mess. All that's gone, and that's the new Zebco 33. Everybody started with one, and they're pretty cool to have.
That's for sure.
All right, well now we got this little deal here. This is a know your limits, tough guide to all the species, their sizes. It's got a little really cool little
measuring device.
It's a ruler along the side, and it goes to 12 inches. And once you get to the 14-inch, you just pin it down and rotate.
Pin it down and rotate.
And that's awesome. And it'll go all the way up to 37 inches, 38 inches if you keep going all the way around.
You know what I like is that it's waterproof and
indestructible.
Indestructible.
It's made out of this special stuff that they make the charts out of now. And you can't rip it. I mean, it's just, you can ball it up and put it in the only thing you have to worry about is getting fish guts on it, and I think that'll probably just wash right off.
Yep.
But that's just a really cool thing for everybody to have, not only kids that you can tell, but adults as well. Now these are made specifically for kids. These are the new buffs, for the juniors, for the kids, and they're made out of microfiber. Whenever you get out and go fishing, especially with young kids. I mean, my kids have red hair and they're translucent. You can see their internal organs, when you put them up against the sun. I mean, they're the whitest kids ever. And you got to have sunscreen on them, right? Or they're just going to burn up. So these things help a lot in that respect. The buffs, you can wear them on your head. You can wear them, on your face. You can do all kinds of cool things, wristbands, but the new Buff Juniors, really cool things for the kids. Now, this is one of my coolest things up here, I think. Eagle Claw is now starting to make all these little kits for different species, for freshwater. This is the saltwater kit right here, and it's got little hooks for snapper, and you can see they're all labeled with what they're for. So if you're a kid or a parent even, if you're a parent and your kid likes to fish, and he likes to fish in saltwater, but you don't know what the kid's fishing for, right? This thing solves it. These tackle kits from Eagle Claw, you got the saltwater tackle kit and the freshwater, and they have a redfish one, they have a trout one, they have a snook one, and they have a freshwater bass one, walleye. Cool. I mean, if you're in a spot where you can go fishing, those Eagle Claw things are awesome.
Yep.
And also, we've got these are from Zebco, and these are little tackle wallets. And what they do is they have all the stuff in them as usual. The little tiny hooks, the bobbers, and all that stuff. And Zebco is very good about getting kids into fishing. So, when you use these, especially these little hooks, if I could tell anybody tonight about how to help kids catch fish, if you put a little tiny hook like that on and put a bread ball in it in any body of water in Florida, you're going to catch something on it. And what's so cool is those tiny little hooks, they're unforgiving. Anything that eats that thing is going to get hooked, whether it's big or little.
Including your kid.
Including a kid. And the good thing is they come right out. You know, that's the good thing about the tiny little hooks. But when you use those little hooks, it's awesome. And Zebco is really good about making the little kits and stuff for everybody that you can go straight out and start catching fish.
Dave, why don't you tell the kids that they're all getting a free rod and reel tonight?
They are getting a free rod and reel tonight because we're giving all of Fish Florida. You notice the back of my truck's got a Fish Florida Bill Fish plate on it. You can go and get your Fish Florida Bill Fish plates at the local tax collector, or you can go online at fishflorida.org. And you know, every time somebody buys one of those tags, all that money goes to getting fishing equipment, grants, and scholarships for kids. So buy that Sailfish license plate.
You know, also, Dave, what happened here, too, is Captain Harry's got in the mix, because certainly all these products that can be found at Captain Harry's Fishing Supply, but they've given us gift certificates. We've got fighting belts, all as raffle prizes that were given away during all the commercial breaks. And I got to tell you, it's just so awesome that everybody wants to be involved.
Yeah, if you know, the kids don't go fishing, we're probably not going to be fishing later. You know, we got to have somebody to take us when we get real old.
Bree, where are we going now?
Well, Rick, now we're going over to the Northwest region to talk to Captain Jeff Hageman, who loves taking kids out on the water. Hey, Hag.
How you doing?
Good.
It's one of my favorite things to do, and fishing kids is probably one of my most memorable and rewarding charters I do. We've got hundreds of parks, piers, miles of accessible shoreline, lakes and rivers in my region. There's absolutely no excuse not to get a kid out there and take them fishing. You don't have one? Borrow one. They're fun. They're enjoyable. I'm sure somebody will loan you their kid to take them fishing. It's not a problem usually. But if you don't know anything about fishing, talk to your local bait shops. They can gear you up, help you get started. If you're not a fisherman, local seminars and the clubs we have in my region are really helpful, and I'll get you those basics that'll get your kid fishing and get them catching fish and get them coming back to do it. The younger, the better. Some of my best memorable experiences are, you know, sitting on my dad's lap and him teaching me how to fish. And it's definitely worth it. It's been a lasting memory. But I got a photo here of a nice West Coast redfish caught with me. She absolutely waxed her brothers that day. So she was a very happy camper.
Good job. Thanks for that picture. All right, what else you got for us inshore there, Hag?
Captain Jordan Todd of Saltwater Obsessions out of St. George Island reports the redfish and the trout bite has been really good. Right now, he said their shrimp hatches have already started and in full effect with that last moon that just came through, bringing some big tides. You want to focus around creek mouths, bayous, open to the bay. You want to fish that falling tide right now when the shrimp are being flushed out. These fish are schooling near the passes and feeding on the shrimp as they flow out right now. So free line a shrimp or put them underneath a cork for the trout. Redfish, you want to put a Carolina rig with a 1/4 ounce weight, fish the bottom, and just drift it out in that tide. Popping cork and a pearl white gulp shrimp on a 1/4 ounce jig head is also very effective. The average size of the redfish right now have been anywhere from 23 to 28 inches, and the trout have been averaging anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds. And here's a great picture of a nice young lady with a great trout caught with Jordan.
Man, that's a big one.
That's a good one, isn't
Let's
it?
go offshore there, Pop.
Mangrove snapper bite right now is strong throughout the region. It's gotten better with that big moon we just had. You want to look for fish concentrated on high relief structures. You want to take a lot of chum out there with you. Load your bait well up and then load a couple buckets up and bring as much. There's a lot of small stuff right now, so bring as much as you can offshore with you. You want to anchor up above the structure. Use as light a leader as possible. The smallest hook you can get away with, you'll get more bites. Sardines and shrimp have been the best baits, and the fish right now are being caught from just offshore, 25 feet of water, and out. The bigger fish have been averaging offshore a little bit further, but all the fish have been averaging anywhere from 1 to 3 pounds. And offshore, we've got gag and red grouper bite. That's also been really good in that 70 to 130-foot range. Red grouper have been concentrated over the flat rock bottom, and the gags have been on the ledges and rock piles right now. Limits have been pretty easy to obtain. Fish up to 12 pounds are being caught pretty plentiful. You can use cut sardines, live pinfish on a standard bottom rig. Heavy action rod's a must. 60 to 80 pound main line, 100 to 125 pound leader, a 6/0 to 8/0 VMC circle hook, and 6 to 8 ounces of lead. You might have to use a little more. These tides are a little heavier right now, so just adjust your lead to the size they currently you're experiencing while you're out there.
All right, great report from the Yeti Northwest region. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Drummond Community Bank hotspots from the Northwest region. Snook along the beaches and passes, drifted pinfish on the outgoing tide, and then offshore mangroves on the near shore and offshore ledges and rock piles. Use sardines and shrimp on a knocker rig, Bree.
All right, Rick, we are going to take a short break, but when we come back, we have reports from the Central East and Southeast regions, so stay tuned.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy, find new roads. Alukai, fit by nature, crafted by hand. Best parts, best prices. Bennett Auto Supply. The Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. Rapala, catch the latest at Rapala.com. Startron, cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. And Yamaha, reliability starts here.
Wandering out into this great unknown. And when it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain.
Find summer, the Chevy Summer Drive. The Chevy Summer Drive. Get 0% financing for 72 months plus a total value of $4,000 on this 2014 Silverado All-Star Edition and no monthly payments for 90 days. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
I'm Captain Rick Murphy, and I'm a life member of CCA. Why am I so involved with CCA, you ask? Because I want our fisheries to be in better shape for my kids and their kids. CCA is working to ensure the future of recreational fisheries and the rights of recreational anglers. The future of fishing starts today with you. How do you want to leave things with your kids? If you're like me, you'll want to make the right choice and go to joinccaflorida.com right now.
We're still here having lots of fun on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, and Allie's still over there working hard, showing the kids how to hook some bait. They're having lots and lots of fun. Rick, who do we have here?
Now, Bree, King Sailfish has gave us a gift certificate for a mount, and our recipient is Mr. Ryan. And Ryan, what you're going to get is a lot like the African pompano that Ridge got over there. So you'll get a certificate, and if we'll take a look at that, look at how that is. It's going to come with your name on it, and then it's going to go underneath the fish that you choose to have mounted. Good job, buddy. Thank you for being here.
Cool, huh? Give us your best fish face. Ready, go. Come on, you can do it. He's shy, okay.
All right, Bree, let's go.
Good job, Ryan. We're so excited. We are now going to hear from Captain Jim Ross in the Central East region, who has plenty of info when it comes to getting kids out in the water fishing.
Oh, we sure do, Bree. You know, taking a kid fishing is nothing new to many of the anglers here in the Central East region of the state. And we've got a lot of different clubs and organizations that routinely help kids get involved in this sport that we love so much. Now, most of the Anglers for Conservation group is known by people in this area, but if you don't know about them, they have gatherings about once a month in my region. And they have experienced anglers and captains that come in and share their knowledge and their passion with the kids that show up to these events. They give away free rods and reels in many cases, and they really want to keep that passion growing in the kids once they return home from these events. So one of the things I would recommend that you do is if you want to get a kid involved, go to anglersforconservation.org, check out their website, and they should be able to get you going in the right direction. Now, the other species that we have inshore this week is the mangrove snapper. Now, mangrove snapper continue to put a really nice bend in most of the anglers' poles and a bunch of smiles on a bunch of faces this week. And you want to find these fish near the Causeway Bridge pilings or the residential docks. throughout my region. Some of the better places to try right now are the docks and bridge pilings from Ponce Inlet southward to about the Edgewater area, and then the causeway bridges and pilings in the Indian River from about Cocoa to about Melbourne. And then, of course, as always in the summertime, we've got mangrove snapper at the jetties at Sebastian Inlet. Now, live snapper on a small, or live shrimp on a small hook are really good for catching snapper, and I like to use a 1/8 or 1/16 ounce hookup jig head. That seems to be one of the better ways I get them to bite, and I'll sometimes use a small pilchard or silver side if I can find those baits in the lagoon system. Our average mangrove snapper is running 1 to 2 pounds at this time, and so you can catch some pretty nice snapper in our lagoon systems.
Let's go offshore, Jimmy.
Sure thing. Tarpon.
Oh, tell me about, you got a photo?
Yeah, I got a photo here, and I've got Taylor Shank.
Whoa, that's a photo.
Yeah, this is the new potential IGFA all-tackle world record red snapper for the kids division or the youth division.
That's a clap right there, Jim.
There you go.
Yep.
Wow.
All right, tell me about your offshore, buddy.
All right, buddy. Well, we're going to talk about those tarpon because, you know, once again, they're chasing bait pods up and down the coast right now. Ponce Inlet to Bethune Beach is a real hot spot the last couple of days. The pods of fish are holding right around that bait. Captain Fred Roberts has had some banner days recently. In fact, I talked to him just the other day. He got 15 fish on. He had 11 leader touches. Not bad for tarpon.
Wow.
Anglers are also reporting really good catches around the tip of the Cape at times, but then mainly from the South Cocoa Beach area down to the Melbourne Beach area. That seems to be another hot spot. Look for the tarpon rolling near the bait pods. Slow troll or drift those baits, and you know they're mainly pilchards and pogies in and around those areas where you see those bait pods, and you're going to get hooked up. A 7385 7/0 to 9/0 VMC circle hook is the best way to go, and most of our tarpon right now are going from about 80 to 100 pounds. Now, the other species we have is shark, and of course it's Shark Week this week. And the central east region of the state is got plenty of them. Well, I think we've had about one shark attack every day for the beachgoers right now. So, needless to say, we have plenty of them in the surf zone. If you want to catch some sharks, you want to get out there and you want to throw any kind of live bait out into the surf. Put a steel leader out there, live bait, dead bait. It really doesn't matter as long as it's got some smell to it. They'll pick it up. Now, you know the tarpon will do that as well, so don't go lightly equipped because you may get some of those bigger tarpon as well doing that. Most of our sharks right now are blacktip, bulls, spinners, sharptooth, and hammerheads, and they're ranging in size from about 10 pounds to well over 100 pounds. And I've got another picture of a couple of young guys here. I have Ben Tobin and Rick Reyes with a nice pair of fine-tooth sharks that they caught from Port Canaveral when we were out this past Tuesday.
All right.
So they're out there, you guys and gals just need to get out and go do some fishing.
All right, great report from the Central East region. Jim, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the hookup lure hotspots from the Central East region. Inshore, Mosquito Lagoon for speckled trout use pigfish under a bass assassin cork along the channel edges in 3 to 5 feet of water. And then offshore, mangrove snappers on the wrecks in 60 to 90 feet of water. Free line cut sardines or squid in your chum slick and use a VMC 2.0 to 3.0 circle hook, Bree.
Fishing, they were sharking.
They were.
You kidding me?
They were catching.
Okay, now we're heading over to the Southeast region where Captain Jimbo knows when it comes to kids and fishing, keeping them entertained is key. Hey, Jimbo.
Hey, how we doing tonight?
Good.
That's right. Most young anglers don't have a lot of patience, including myself. So the trick is to keep them entertained. It doesn't matter what's on the end of the line as long as it's a fish, and that works for me as well. And catching blue runners and pinfish for bait is often the highlight of the day for young kids using small spinning outfits that they can easily handle. Another great way to keep the rod bent is to anchor up on any of the shallow reefs throughout the region and fish with live or dead shrimp. And we can usually keep everyone occupied catching small snapper, grunts, jacks, and other assorted reef fish. If you don't have a boat, another great way to get the kids on the water for a fairly reasonable price is on one of the many party fishing boats or fishing piers in the region. And they will usually supply or rent you the tackle. And then any of the lakes or canals of the region, those are also great places to fish for bass and brim. For the brim, a stale loaf of bread, you want to make some bread balls, and use a small hook. That's all you need to catch bait or catch these brim, and that's what I grew up catching was these stupid things. But I still love catching them. But Staying inshore, we got largemouth bass fishing. It's been excellent in the lakes and canals throughout the region, and in the south end, the peacock bass have been biting along with the largemouth. Now, you can give the Everglades a try, but with the high water levels, they're going to be spread out, and not to mention putting up with all those mosquitoes out there. Both the largemouth and the peacocks, they've been biting best first thing in the morning, and the artificial baits have been out fishing the live baits, according to our good friend and friend of the show, Captain Tony Fowler. He's been catching lots of largemouths in the 1 to 4 pound range and peacocks in the 2 to 5 pound range, fishing topwater baits early in the morning, and he's been having good success using head-in torpedoes, and then as the water heats up, he's been using small deep-running Rapalas in blue and silver or gold and black, and Z-Man minnows, and the color is called Bad Shad. That's what he says has been working the best. He's also been fly fishing for these peacocks and the largemouth, and he's using small clouser minnows in red and white or green and white, and he says look for clear water with current around bridge and dock pilings or any other structure. Now, moving offshore, right now is one of the best times of the year to target wahoo in the southeast region, and right after the super full moon that we've had on last Sunday, this is it. The full moons is when they start to bite. There's been scattered wahoo caught throughout the region, but one of the better areas has been in the Hillsborough to Boynton areas. And there are two ways to go about catching these wahoos, either by trolling or live baiting. If you're going to troll, you can fast troll bullet-headed lures at 10 to 15 knots or slow down to 6 to 8 knots, put out a 3.5 to number 4 drone spoon or a bonita strip and pink sea witch combination behind a number 2 or number 3 planer. And then with the live baits, you want to fish with big goggle eyes, blue runners, or speedos. On the troll, we're using number 7 or 8 wire leader. And then on the live baits, we're using an 18-inch piece of number 5 leader. And it's not a bad idea on the live baits to add a stinger hook to avoid any cutoffs. Best fishing's been in the blue water with north current in depths anywhere from 120 to 500 feet of water. And we actually caught one off Miami on Wednesday, about a 25-pounder on a live herring off Key Biscayne. Now, staying offshore, dolphin are still around in decent enough numbers to make a trip offshore worthwhile. Most of the fish have been out 8 to 15 miles around scattered weed lines, floating debris, and under birds. They're still feeding on the schools of bait fish that are hiding under anything floating out there. Now, it's been really easy to catch all the light bait that you want by simply dropping your sabiki rig down under any sargassum patch or floater, and you're getting all these small blue runners. That's exactly what they're feeding on. Now, most of the fish have been big schoolies in the 5 to 8 pound range, and then again, we've come upon a few schools of smaller ones in the past week, but the bulk of the fish have been nicer ones. Now, the few larger fish that we've been finding have been found under frigate birds, and we've been catching them on the troll or on live baits pitched under these birds. So it's decent fishing out there.
All right, great report, Jimbo. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from this Captain Harry Southeast region. Inshore, work surface baits in your local lakes or canals early in the morning for largemouth and peacock bass, and then offshore, fish live baits along the edge of the Gulf Stream in 120 to 300 feet of water for a mixed bag of sailfish, kingfish, bonitas, and if you get lucky, possibly even a wahoo.
I've got Miss Taylor here. And guys, this kids' party is almost over, but when we return, we'll be hearing Costa's Conservation Minute Tip and heading over to the Southwest region, only on the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report. Ready? High five, high five, scuba dive! Oh,
she got me.
We got
The
him.
Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Just imagine. Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. Tires Plus, total car care. The IGFA, conservation through education. Get your hands wet. Florida Outdoor Experience. Lumber Rock. Captain Harry's Fishing Supply Company.
Introducing Helmmaster, Yamaha's first fully integrated digital boat control system. With Helmmaster, you can start your outboards with a swipe of a paw and control them with a single lever. Outboard trim and steering friction adjust automatically as you accelerate and decelerate. Adjust engine speed with the touch of a button. The Helmmaster joystick provides the means to navigate and dock precisely with confidence and ease. Take control of your next vessel with Helmmaster at your command.
Casa Vieja Lodge, Guatemala.
StarTron is a multifunctional fuel additive that uses enzyme technology. StarTron cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Engines powered by StarTron treated fuel start easily and run smoothly with fewer emissions and better fuel economy. StarTron restores octane to old substandard fuel. StarTron's enzyme formula enhances combustion for a more complete fuel burn. StarTron, it's not the engine, it's the fuel.
Wandering out into this great unknown. And when it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain.
Find summer, the Chevy Summer Drive. The Chevy Summer Drive. Get 0% financing for 72 months plus a total value of $4,000 on this 2014 Silverado All-Star Edition and no monthly payments for 90 days. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission wants your help in removing lionfish from Florida waters. Interested in helping? Lionfish can be speared or caught in handheld nets, and a recreational fishing license is not required while targeting lionfish while using a pole spear, a Hawaiian sling, or handheld net, or a spearing device that is especially designed and marketed exclusively for lionfish. If you get stung, treat the wound by immersing the area in hot water for 30 to 90 minutes and seek medical attention as soon as possible. Although complete eradication is not likely to given the current range and distribution of the species, localized control is possible through consistent and sustained harvest pressure. To learn more about lionfish evasion and what you can do to help, visit myfwc.com/wildlife habitats and click on non-native species. Brie, Matthew won the Costas during the commercial break that we're giving away. So what's up, Matthew? How you like it?
High five, that's awesome, man.
Good job. Go, Brie.
All right, let's hear from our last captain of the night, Ron Houston, who really knows how to get kids hooked on fishing.
Well, thanks for being here. You know, with kids fishing, when it comes to fishing with children, both boys and girls, I found the simplest way to get them into it is, first of all, myself having patience and keeping it easy with plenty of areas of water, whether it be fresh or salt. Beaches, passes, intercoastal docks, seawalls, lakes, and canals. Cut baits like shrimp, squid, or bread can make it effortless to catch snappers, sheep's head, ladyfish, black drum, brim, and shell crackers. Now, getting them hooked and interested, once you do, you can move on up to fishing live pilchards, pinfish, and shiners to catch snook, redfish, trout, jacks, and largemouth bass. Hopefully, they will have desire and be able to cast on their own, and you can start them being more advanced with spoons, bucktails, soft plastics on a jig head, and artificial worms. All this will catch fish, and once they have figured it out, they'll want to move on and fish for certain species. Always make sure they're under supervision, especially when they're near the water. But you can always go to myfwc.com, Bass Pro Shops, the Naples Fishing Club, and for further information, look up kids fishing in my region. And I've got a couple special photos, two brothers. The first photo is Nash Walker, and the second photo is Jack Walker. And this is probably the simplest way to get these kids out fishing. Once they get desire, then they can move on up. Now, on the inshore side, the triple tails. Indian key to Lossman's River. There's so much bait inshore right now, from pilchards to finger mullet, all the way down the coast, and believe me, it's not hard to find it. It almost looks like rain on top of the water. Now, what you need to do is you need to run these bait schools or simply drift through them, whether the water is tannic or clear. Once you see these fish on top of the water, drop back a small live shrimp, pilchard, finger mullet, bucktails, spoons, soft plastic shrimp imitations, or even the bass assassin sea shads on a jig head, and most of these fish will eat.
Now, you'll actually see these fish gorging in the baits. When you turn around and try to catch one of these fish, if he does go down, whip out a small chugging lure, something to make noise, or noise-making cork, and chances are this fish will come back up and present him a bait. But right now, there's a pile of bait over in the Everglades and 10,000 region. Shouldn't have no trouble finding these triple tails. Now, in the offshore report, the cobias. You want to concentrate from stump bass to Sanibel, fishing most noted structure 12 to 20 miles out. You want to do this by anchoring or drifting using live pinfish, herring, and grunts. Also, bright colored chugging lures can be used to catch these fish, as well as bucktails, artificial eels. This is a run and gun bite, but also, guys, this is a bite of having patience. Looking for these cobia on top or in groups on the bottom finder. It also will help you have a chung bag out the back. This will help your chances of drawing the fish to you. Right now, these fish are averaging anywhere from about 18 to 45 pounds. Also, a simple bite on the offshore side, the Spanish mackerels. You want to concentrate from Carlos Pass to Marco, fishing nearshore wrecks, passes with current, head pins, large bait schools, and diving birds using bucktails, silver spoons, live pilchards, and live shrimp. Once you locate the schools, should be no problem catching these fish. And also, make sure you have a trace of wire. If you tie line to line, guys, or line to braid, please make sure you keep the knot small. And it's a special week in my region, 10-year anniversary of Hurricane Charlie. The northern end of my region is a real important region. Those people have worked hard to come back. I'm proud of those people, and I'm proud of letting them represent them in the Southwest region.
All right, Ronnie, great job. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Florida Outdoor Experience hotspots from the Southwest region. Inshore, snook, early in the morning, walking high or drifting the beaches. And then all throughout the region is where you're going to find those snook off the beaches, Bree. And then offshore, permit, Marco to Fort Myers Beach, fishing near-shore wrecks and artificial reefs using live crabs.
Well, now the kids know how to hook some live crabs, don't they?
They do.
They do, thanks to Miss Allie. This has been such a fun show, Rick.
It has.
Oh my gosh, I love this. We should have a kids show every week.
We should.
We should.
We should.
Okay, when we come back, we'll be telling you what to look forward to next week on the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report. Woo! Let's see.
Wandering out into this great unknown. And when it's done, believe that I will yell it from that mountain.
Find summer. The Chevy Summer Drive. The Chevy Summer Drive. Get 0% financing for 72 months plus a total value of $4,000 on this 2014 Silverado All-Star Edition and no monthly payments for 90 days. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline four-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at the office. But down here in the Florida Keys, we have to disagree. Because with over 200 of the world's best charter boat captains and guides, there's no such thing as a bad day of fishing. The Florida Keys and Key West.
Jackpot!
Jackpot.
Jackpot!
Jackpot?
Jackpot! Jackpot!
Jackpot.
Jackpot! Jackpot!
Get ready for the jackpot family of scratch-off games from the Florida Lottery. With a top prize of $2 million, jackpots will happen. Will you be ready for yours?
I got it.
The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Thanks for tuning in to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter to keep up with our captains, contests, and appearances. You never have to miss a show. You can find full episodes of the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report right on your YouTube channel. And make sure to check out our website for fishing reports in your region. Visit www.ChevyFloridaInsiderFishingReport.com for everything you need to know to stay hooked up. Next week on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, we are going spearfishing and diving. Make sure to tune in to SunSports every Thursday, plus you can catch repeats of the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report on Fridays and Saturdays. Check your local listings for times. Guys, this has been such a fun show.
This has been
Look
a fun
at everyone
show.
here. This is great.
It's huge. You know, now Bree, Gaffed Up Magazine has a copy in every one of our Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Everybody's going to get a bag. Everybody's getting a rod from Fish Florida.
FishFlorida.org.
We certainly got to thank CCA. CCA has put in the Tides version of the kids magazine, as well as the FWC has put in a magazine for all the kids. So this show has been dedicated to the kids, and they're getting lots of cool stuff to take home with them. What do you think, Dave?
I think it's awesome.
Well,
You know, I usually try to avoid children at most of the
But this
times,
is
even
great,
my
right?
own. So this is it's awesome.
we have to
These are
thank-
very well-behaved children in here too. By
And
the
we
way.
have to thank the parents,
Very good
too.
kids.
Thank you, parents. Thank you, parents.
Much better than me.
Allie, you had your hands full over there in the shrimp bucket. All right, well, make sure you watch the repeats if you don't catch this show. We're on Thursday 2 times, as well as Friday and Saturday. So
Kids, did you have
make
fun?
sure you watch it. You guys have fun?
Yeah!
Yeah?
Woo!
Good. Hey, everybody wave bye.
Everyone say bye.
Everybody wave bye. Keep waving. Bye.
Say we love fish.
Thank you. We love fish.